Welcome back to another episode of the Girl Boss Method podcast, hosted by myself, Ritu Bra. So, for tonight's topic, we are going to be going into a little bit more about mindset. And the reason being is I think sometimes when we think about fitness and we think about nutrition and we think about lifestyle as well, and we think about really understanding energy around you, and also understanding what it is that you want to achieve, the goals that you are shooting for, and why sometimes that motivation just doesn't seem to be there. So we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of being mindful about what you consume. I've kind of let into a little bit about what this will be about. But anyway, we live in a very fast-paced and frantic society. Trying to balance everything can be tough and overwhelming, especially when in a state of trying to show up for everybody else. So life happens, you've got work, you've got relationships, you've got family members to look after, whether that's children or that's parents. And you've also got friends, you've got friendship groups, you've got people, best friends, and, people that perhaps maybe, they're associates, but again, you just feel like you do end up giving a lot to these people. And it's not to say that we need to be selfish, but I think sometimes you just need to be mindful about the energy that you emit and also the energy that you absorb from other people, because it's a part of how we end up showing up as well, and can impact how our day goes as well. So yeah, the mindset about what we consume and who we surround ourselves with greatly influences our ability to be the best versions of ourselves. Choosing to consume positive, uplifting content and surrounding ourselves with supportive, driven individuals can inspire us, provide us with valuable insights, and foster personal growth. And these are all really positive things. And when we're thinking about content as well, we could be thinking about things that we might see on Instagram. We might be thinking about the news. We might be thinking about binge watching certain types of shows on Netflix. I think it's really important to consume things or focus on things that help us feel positive. So it's not just about the individuals around you, but it's also the other ways, the other things that can have an impact on how you feel. So at the same time, it can be very tough because we live in a world full of pain, there's negativity, and there's noise. And unfortunately, these negative influences can hinder our progress and limit our potential. It's important to focus on cultivating a mindset that prioritizes healthy consumption of everything going on around us. And it's, again, I come back to it. It's not to say that you need to be selfish or you need to not care about other people or other things that are going on, but just be mindful in terms of how this affects you on a day-to-day basis. I've always been a firm believer that if there is something that you can share or you can do yourself to help others get out of the situation, then that's great. We all have the ability to provide that gift to others and influence others in a positive way as well. But again, it just needs to be matched, if you like, in terms of making sure that that energy is, it's a good balance, right? We can work on habits and perform positive relationships with others, and this in turn can significantly enhance our ability to reach our goals and thrive in life. So again, when we're thinking about relationships with others, this is making the choice to be around people that kind of hold the same values as you do in life, and they like the same, dare I say, boring things. Quite often, maybe society is changing slightly, but if you're someone that does try and focus on doing good things for yourself, you're seen as boring, unfortunately. And if you are someone that chooses to go out and abuse themselves, you are seen as fun and a good time. And I don't really like that. So what we can do to help create a positive environment for growth and positivity is we can listen to podcasts. So we can listen to podcasts on positive things, or we can listen to podcasts that help encourage our mind to think about different topics that we might not usually come across or even learn about. So I think there's a great value in being able to learn about different topics. I remember listening to a podcast once, and I can't remember it word for word, but I do remember it really sort of triggering different thought processes in my mind, because it was just really interesting. And they were talking about the solar panels and how solar energy works, and how, I don't know, you can store energy and use it. And I just thought it was very interesting. So yeah, totally random, but there's lots of different things that you can, different podcasts that you can listen to. You can listen to podcasts by sort of quite well-known people, or even if you have a look at things like Spotify, you can just have like a search and maybe have a look at a topic that interests you. So it could even be as random as like DIY stuff, or, again, fitness, or like, maybe even a show where they bring on different guests to talk about different life experiences and stuff. It's just something to help create that positive environment. And there is one that I was a fan of listening to that I stumbled across, and I actually shared with one of the girl bosses a little while back. And I'm trying to think of the name, but it was a 9-minute audio, and apparently it was made or intended to be the length of time that it would take you to sit down, brew a coffee and drink it and enjoy it. And I think they found that either 7 minutes or 9 minutes was like the time frame that you would need, and created a podcast with very short episodes that you would just, like, bite-sized, listen to it, have your coffee, have a listen, and then go off and about your day. And it was just really positive. And I remember doing that when I would see like in-person clients, and I'd have like a small break in between them, and perhaps maybe only like 15 minutes. I'd either take a coffee on the go or no coffee, and just get outside and just get some steps in for those sort of 10-15 minutes, and just listen to something different. Be picky about what we consume on Netflix and how long for. I mean, it's a great form of escapism. You can just switch off from everything else, and Netflix is literally made for binging. The episodes and the way that they create stories or whatever these days, even documentaries, they create cliffhangers, and they want you to watch the next one. They want you to be a consumer for a long period of time. They want you to binge watch, so that you then stay on their platform for a longer period of time, and then you will also go on and watch the next episode, and you'll just maybe even more programs or whatever. And you'll also be able to potentially, I'm going off topic, but influence other people to watch their stuff. But be picky about what you consume on Netflix. There can be programs that actually make you feel quite bad about yourself. And again, it's the same with like Instagram. If there's something that makes you feel awful, you don't like a personality that someone has, or you don't like some of the things that they talk about, I mean, we all need tough love, but sometimes things might overstep the mark and you go, do I really want to do this? Just turn off from it. And it's the same thing goes for Netflix. Some of these programs can make you just feel really boring, and I don't know, yeah, like true boring, and just make you feel crap and rubbish. But again, Netflix is a great place for escapism. You can really learn a few things as well. I do like watching documentaries and stuff, because I feel like, especially if they're short, I can get through them and then be done with them. Binging gets a hold of us all. Like, honestly, years ago, I think at the time I'd finished university, and it was that, like, just after, you know, you've done your exams and stuff and you're just waiting for results. It was that dead space of like getting up late, going to bed late, that sort of thing. And I kid you not, I managed to watch all of Breaking Bad within 12 days. And there's only a few times in your life that you can really get away with doing something like that. So if you're bedridden and, you know, you're unwell, that's probably a good time, or, you know, an opportunity to do something like that. Again, I'd always say to you, get out and walk if you can. But yeah, I don't see myself being in that position again. I mean, it was just a time, right? It was just something that I did. And yeah. Anyway, you can also escape through reading. So I have tried some of the fiction books in the past, and they're great to escape through. Again, you might find yourself really getting so into them that, you know, I mean, people read them from cover to cover in like a couple of days. But again, it's just opening your mind to other things. I like self-help books, but the issue with that, they do become hard to read, maybe. I'm not sure, but they can. I mean, they're positive, but it's like, it takes me a long time to read, and it's a couple of minutes. I might only turn the page once, and then it's off to bed. So it's more like my way of winding down, if you like. So again, that comes on to the next point of create things that actually help you to wind down. So if you feel like you have been surrounded by a lot of negative content or negative people or negative energy, make sure that you've got a go-to list, whether that's in your mind or it's written down in a journal somewhere. Journaling is actually a really cool thing to do as well, just kind of like brain dump and stuff as well. Express feelings, etc. I did do that a while back, like a good few years back. It definitely helped strengthen my positivity and growth as well, and my mindset as well. So I found that really valuable. I was going through a tough time, and I just found it really, really cool. Yeah, just make a list of things that help you inject some positivity back in. And again, yes, be mindful of the impact people around you have on you, and also have on how you feel. So if you have that person, whether it's a colleague or it's a friend, and you think, I've just been with them for like a couple of hours and they don't make me feel too good. They moan a lot, or they are always talking about their problems, like there never seems to be a highlight. Then, I mean, you can always take the choice of like trying to encourage a positive, because we can also affect other people as well with our positivity. You can try to affect them with positive chat, or you can just limit how much time you choose to spend with them, or kind of have like a switch in your mind that goes, do you know what? I'm hearing this, but I'm not really hearing it. So yeah, overall, you just want to be watering your mind with good shit. You just want good, positive vibes. So another thing that we can focus on is like having a growth mindset. So having the belief that we can get better at something by dedication, time, effort, and energy, and consistency of all good things. So just focusing, right, on your health and fitness as well as a pillar of positivity. I think it's not to say that exercise is the answer for everything if you're going through problems, but I don't think working on your body or even working on your mind when you're in the gym, because you're focusing on something, aren't you? You're going through an act, and you're creating another translation of energy as well, or a transition of energy. You're releasing really happy, great hormones as well, and you've got those endorphins running through you, and it's just nice to know that you've given back to yourself, and it's not just been, let me melt into the sofa and become couch potato for the whole evening. When you've chosen to take the step to move and fuel yourself as well, it's positive. So again, seeing movement and nutrition as encouragement and not punishment. So often we see people looking at exercise or eating healthful as like a punishing thing, that, oh my goodness, I need to like lose the weight, I need to drop the fat, I need to get ready for my holiday in X amount of weeks, or whatever it is. People do these things such as like movement and nutrition because they're looking at it as being something that, you know, is like, oh, I've got to like punish myself with it, and it's, oh, I have to do this, and I've been bad at the weekend and I must really diet hard. And it's like, well, actually, you should be looking at those things as encouragement. So encouragement meaning like being positive pillars, things that are going to help cultivate that positive body and that mindset. So yeah. And again, like, look, becoming stronger. So yes, lifting weights, becoming stronger, more resilient. And that means physically, which can help with the mentally, which can help you emotionally. And I really, really am a firm believer of that as well. If you have a look at the people around you, if you have a look at people, maybe even like famous people, like people that take the effort to, whether it's like they're physically working on themselves in some way, again, encouraging, not punishment, as like, you know, being successful in what it is that they do in their career, that like they really take the time to give back to their bodies. And this does not mean like going and like running and doing HIIT and beating yourself in the gym. Like, this could literally be as simple as going out for a walk, stretching, doing yoga, engaging in Pilates, engaging in like even like Tai Chi. Like, there is something about physically moving your body that affects your mind. Okay. So yeah, so that basically you are ready to deal with whatever life throws at us, okay, or throws at you. So that's the idea of working on yourself in the gym, right? And I just wanted to kind of finish, if you like, or kind of come on to the next slide, just because we talked about growth mindset a little bit. And maybe this is the right time to kind of remind ourselves of this, but quite often we sit in the comfort zone. So that could be with like friendships, that could be also like with ticking boxes in terms of how our training's going to work, ticking the box, showing up for meetings, getting up in the morning. You feel safe and in control in this area. As soon as we step out of that area, we become fearing, right? And so again, if we take work as this, we worry perhaps maybe, or we like lack, maybe we might find excuses about not getting up earlier. So again, getting up, you've got, let's say for me, for example, I've got a in-person client at like 6:30 a.m. and I choose to just because I choose to leave it to the last 15 minutes to like get myself ready for that session. That's poor, right? I'm making excuses. I'm staying in bed longer, etc. But really what I should be doing is actually rising above that and preparing myself to go further and get up earlier and do the work to make sure that I've prepared for this. And this even comes, this is even as simple as like even preparing myself for these Zoom calls as well, these like topics that we talk about. Sometimes I do have to stretch myself and I have to go away and I have to learn. I have to learn if there's something that I feel like this is challenging for my mind to like express or talk about. I have to go and learn about it and maybe even listen to some podcasts or listen to other information or go back and have a look at my notes that I may have gone over previously, or it might be something I have to learn completely. But I just think this is just, again, I've been really like basic with this. But I think, you know, comfort zone, most people stay here. The fear zone, again, they're affected by what other people think of them. They might lack confidence. They find excuses. The learning zone, and you can look at this in any aspect of your life. I just think it really helps. But the learning zone, when you're in the learning zone, you learn to kind of deal with the challenges and the problems. You acquire new skills and you start to extend the comfort zone, right? In that sense. And then the growth zone. This is where we would all love to be, because this is where we are starting to do things that we cannot see. We are setting new goals. We are living extendedly through our dreams. We're finding purpose in what we do, and we're realizing our aspirations. Now, for me, when I think about the growth zone, and I think about, let's say you've got a weight loss target, or there is a size that you are trying to fit into, that you've got a goal that you want to look a certain way by the summer or whatever. And because you might not have been there before, you might be sitting in this fear zone, but you really have to kind of push yourself right into that learning zone. Okay, right, I'm going to do the stuff and I'm going to face it and I'm going to get on with it. And the growth zone would be you realizing that although you cannot see it to believe it, you know that in your heart, if you do the work and you push yourself, you are really going to make that happen. And that for me is growth. Okay. And then just to summarize that, basically bad shit will always happen in life, but it's how we choose to deal or approach those things that matters, and the energy around us that really matters as well. So that's really where I wanted to kind of conclude this topic of like being mindful about what you consume in any format and any aspect. You know, people's vibes are infectious. Energy is infectious. And, you know, we had our amazing Girl Boss meetup a couple of days ago. Well, a couple of days ago, yesterday. Yesterday at the time of recording this. Might be a couple of days by the time I upload it. But anyway, the energy was just incredible. So I've definitely noticed a change in energy as we've come away from that event, and how the girls are showing up for each other and actually cheering each other on as well. So well done. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of leave that there. Okay. So as always, if you've got any questions, you can ask in the group, DM me if private. If you have stumbled across this podcast and you are not part of the Girl Boss Method and you want to learn a little bit more about what we do and how we do it, perhaps you've got a goal in mind, or you just want to take hold of your health and your fitness and your nutrition, you want to show up as your better or best self in 2024, what I would like you to do is you can follow me on Instagram. You can find me at Richu Brar. So that's RICHUBRAR. Send me a DM. Let's have a chat. And for those of you that are just listening, we'll see you here next time. Thank you.